Georgia Alzar, and it is being recorded. And Ashley helped me set this up. And we do this once a month. It's the third Tuesday. And I just like to highlight someone from outside of our area or in our region that is highly successful and can offer any value or knowledge. And just today I wanted to focus on opportunity with KW, because I think there's more opportunity than ever. So I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself, Natasha. And while you're doing that, I'll make sure everyone's admitted. So welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you for having me. And hello, North Florida. I am Natasha Valasek, and I am the broker of 2 market centers in the Houston area. In fact, when you leave my office, you see the NASA space shuttle there. So it's really cool. So we are the Space City. I have been with Keller Williams. Actually, this month was 3 years. Wow. So I'm officially vested and super excited. However, I have been in the real estate industry for 15 years. Prior to coming to KW, I had my own indie brokerage, and I'm sure I will tell you a lot more about that later.
Yeah, so just for everyone listening, how did you get started? We always ask this question of anyone we interview. How did you get started in real estate? How long have you been in real estate in general, like you said, outside of Keller Williams?
Sure. So I have been in real estate for 15 years. And prior to real estate, I worked in the luxury apartment homes community. So I worked for the finger companies, and I was constantly in touch with apartment locators. And I've always been very driven as far as sales. So I was with apartment locators, and they said, why don't you come and try it on this side? And I thought, okay. So I went and got my real estate license, and I thought, I don't want to just lease apartments. I want to sell homes. And so I did just that. And I put my eye on who has the most luxurious properties for sale. I want to be with that broker. And that's who I decided to join and follow. And that's how I got started in real estate.
So you started in luxury, though, from the beginning. You kind of fell into that, or, you just always wanted to be in the luxury world?
Yeah, so I was with the only luxury apartment community in our area. And of course, as I mentioned, being at NASA, it was people that had the big contracts with NASA. The Russian cosmonauts were there. So I got to kind of be a part of that world, right? And then when I got into real estate, it just seemed natural for me to continue that on, because I did have such great training with the finger companies, because they had an extra level of service that they had expected us to follow. So it seemed like a natural transition. Of course, I didn't start, my first sale was not luxury. It's definitely something that I think is a misconception. I want to get into real estate and I'm going to sell luxury.
Right.
You have to pay your dues first. You have to know what you're doing and get there. And so I did just that. And I did have some sales, many sales that were not luxury starting out, for sure.
So did you have a mentor? Did you work alongside someone? I know, a lot of times you have a few mentors throughout your career, but was there anyone that really helped you kind of get to that next level with luxury?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, when I decided I was going to get into real estate, I wanted to go with someone that had a lot of luxury listings. And I just shadowed and absorbed as much as I could. I just wanted to learn anything and everything I could, right? I knew for sure that it's not something that I was just going to say, okay, I want to do this and prove it's going to happen. I needed to earn that luxury business. And so I followed, and I did have a mentor. My broker at the time, who is now retired, she was basically the queen of luxury waterfront listings.
So that led you to the path of merging your brokerage with Keller Williams. Obviously, you were getting noticed in the luxury world, and then you helped launch a luxury division in the market center you joined. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Sure. So after I had been in real estate for a pretty good while, I decided that I went to my broker and said, I have definitely made my name known and I'm contributing to our luxury sales. I think there's a few things we should implement. And she was highly respected. And I completely, respected her opinion on everything. And I could tell she kind of had one foot out the door. And I just saw how there was the technology piece really missing. And so I thought, okay, let's do this. We can take this to a whole nother level. And she was kind of ready to retire. So I started my own brokerage. And then my goal with starting my own indie brokerage was to make it the luxury boutique brokerage for our area. And we started gaining traction. I had 12 agents, and then we were taking luxury listings. We were selling luxury properties. And then I came to KW because I was recruiting one of their mega agents. And I was talking to him about, what I offer. And he said, I really feel like you're interviewing me and I should be interviewing you. And I said, well, I kind of think it should be both ways. I've got a great office culture and we've got a great thing going, and I need to make sure that you're going to contribute and fit in. And he said, well, it's funny because I already talked to all the agents in your office and that's why I'm meeting with you.
Wow.
I was intrigued. And I said, oh, okay. And long story short, he was telling me all the things he loved about KW, a lot of which I could not provide those things as an indie brokerage, such as, the technology. I had my own systems, but they were at a smaller capacity, right? Because I only needed systems for a smaller office. So as we're having these conversations, I'm now like intrigued about KW. Well, okay, I didn't realize that they had that. Okay. And what I found is the piece that he was missing was leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I'm always honest, take it or, like it or not. I was just honest. And I said, I really feel like KW is your home. And I'm not sure that coming here is going to be the best thing for you. And a few weeks later, the team leader called and said, hey, I know that you were interviewing this person and we're looking for a broker. Would you be interested? I said, well, I'll hear you out. I was pretty happy with what I had going on. However, I'm always open to having conversations. And I interviewed for the broker position, had a few more conversations, made sure that it was not just a win-win for myself, but if I was going to do this and bring my entire brokerage with me, I needed to make sure that all of the agents that had been loyal and with me in my brokerage, it was going to be a win for them too. It wasn't just my personal gain, it was a gain for them as well. And so I made sure that it was a win-win for all of us. And about 2 months after the first conversation, my entire brokerage ended up coming into KW and merging.
Wow, that's exciting. So what fears did you have? That had to have been obviously a big decision. You had to get buy-in from your people. They had loyalty and trust and all the knowledge you had provided. So how did that work? How did you speak to them? Did you meet with them individually? And what fears did you have?
Sure. I met with each of them individually and I told them what my thoughts were about KW and why I recognized that they were great agents, they were loyal agents, and that as an indie broker, I had a cap on my limitations, right? At KW, we had the MCA, we've got the DOFI, we've got Director of Agent Services. And when you're an indie brokerage, you're wearing all those hats. So explaining to them the benefit of having all of those resources. And like I said, I spoke with each of them individually, and also the technology and the systems and the tools that are amazing that KW offers that I just could not afford to provide as an indie broker.
Well, and I think it's the time too. It's funny hearing your story because Mike Brody was pretty involved, helping me kind of come over. Georgia pulled in some pretty key players that who knows if they were wanting to be involved at all, but they certainly love Georgia, and I think they would do anything. And I had 12 agents, and we were selling luxury, and I put that luxury name on the sign, and it just worked, and the marketing was good. But the time and the taking myself out of production to help the other agents was very labor intensive, and then really trying to create the training, not just the technology, but the training for them so that they could take their business to the next level. I feel like KW just has that playbook. So the opportunity and the sky's the limit, as we say, right? Like anything, you can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years. But I remember having a very similar conversation with Mike and Georgia, and I had no idea what a big deal Mike was at the time. So I just knew he was with KW. So, I found out after a quick Google search, what an amazing guy he is and how well known in the industry. But it was scary. You really have these agents that have leaned on you, and you're local and very involved with your community. So there was some fear, and I'm a person that doesn't have a lot of fear. So that's why I was asking, what was going through your head? I had to
Yeah, definitely. So some of the fears that I had, first of all, was my agents, the agents that were with me. What if they did not see this as a win for them? Right? Then it would be, okay, is this going to really be a benefit to myself or to my agents? And prior to coming to KW, and this is one of the many things I love about KW, it's agents first. I needed to make sure everyone was, there was buy-in from everyone, and it was a win for everyone. Another fear that I had was that I loved our small indie brokerage feel, the family feel. And I was afraid going to the big company, right, that we would lose that. I was afraid that we wouldn't have our family feel and our great culture. Oh man, was I wrong. It's a much bigger family. There's so much more joy and love. And I'm so blessed with that. And that's something that we all felt the first team meeting that we came to. They welcomed us with open arms, not just me. It wasn't about me as the broker. It was my agents, and the fact that they gave so much support and love to them as well was super important to me. Another fear I had was I had really built my name, with my brokerage, and I had been the president of the Women's Council of Realtors. And what would all my peers think, right? All of my friends at other brokerages, what would they say? Oh, you went to KW, or, I had great friends at other brokerages that had tried to recruit me to their brokerages. What would they say? So that was some of the fears. And I was really happy with how KW helped me transition. They had a great welcome party, how they announced it. It was all very eloquently done. And like I said, so much support and love, not just for me, but for my team as well. And that was very important to me.
I can totally relate. I had the same fears, and there might be people on this call that have friends that have independent companies right now. And what a great opportunity for profit share. I mean, it's never been easier to help merge these independent companies and offer all the training and technology while they still get to keep their brand. I mean, that was really one of my biggest objections was, gosh, I built this brand in my local community. But I really, once I transitioned and had that warm welcome, I mean, they put me in the Out Front magazine, which was a national magazine. I had never had so much national exposure. And I had a handwritten card from Mo Anderson. I mean, it was the warmest welcome I had ever imagined I would receive. So fast forward to today. Now you have 2 market centers?
Correct.
Okay, so how did that all happen? This whole call is about the opportunity path with KW. So we can all go out there and sell luxury, and a lot of agents on this call are doing it at a high level. So what other opportunity with some of that income that they're making from the sales can they go out and take advantage of?
Sure. So one thing I want to say that I learned very quickly, and keep in mind, although I had been in the business for a long time already, I did not know a lot about KW. Okay. So I had been, and keep this in mind, there was a local KW for 12 years. I did not know all the things about KW. So one thing that I want to make sure that everyone gets out of this is tell your story. And by me just telling my story a month after joining KW of how great their resources and tools are, how great the systems were that they were providing, how exciting it was for this, new venture for myself and my team. The next month after I joined was the record-breaking month of agents that have ever joined our market center to date.
Wow.
Tell your story. Talk about growing your profit share. All I did was share my story with all of my peers and everyone in the local community that I knew in real estate. I wasn't recruiting them. I wasn't telling them what they needed to know. I was telling them why I was excited. What did I love about this? Why did I choose to do this? That's all you have to do.
So obviously you were already a leader in your community, president of Women's Council. I have two presidents going in for our local brokerages that I'm involved with and own as far as market centers in our area. So I have two women that are going to be president next year. So that's very exciting to have South County and North County representation. And I think that's going to be a huge stepping stone for their leadership path. They both want to do more than just sales in the luxury world, and they both have qualified for luxury. So when you're very involved in leadership there, did you know that you wanted to go that broker path immediately, or did you just love sharing the information and knowledge? Obviously, you probably had to think about even taking on a second brokerage. I know a lot of people I speak to when I'm coaching agents in my market center, the leadership path can be scary for them, sometimes thinking that I don't have enough time. My production's going to go down. So can you kind of touch on that and your path journey with time blocking and how you make it all work?
Sure. So I started off as the broker, right? And I started as a broker because I know when I know, and I'll tell you if I know it, and if I don't, I'll tell you I don't. And so when it came to contracts, I knew those like the back of my hand. I knew the importance of them. And that started prior to real estate. When I was in the apartment industry, you learn those TAA leases, you better know them and be able to explain them. So I always knew contracts very well. I understood them. I always was taking any class I could to get a better understanding for them, and transactions, issues. I actually wanted to be an attorney. So that's where that all comes in. So I do enjoy the broker role and helping agents in that aspect. When I came to KW, I learned about all the other opportunities. Once agents started becoming attracted to me telling my story, I realized I really enjoyed attracting agents. So I didn't necessarily go to my team leader and say, hey, how do I grow into another role? I just started doing it.
I think.
And that may not be the right thing for everyone, but that's just what I decided to do is, that really interests me. I'm going to start doing that. And then I'm going to show them what I can do and then ask if that's something I should do at a higher level. And so I began attracting agents and got moved into the ATL role. So I balanced broker and ATL while being in production. However, I wanted to make it clear while I was doing ATL, my only role with that was attracting agents. So I would have those.
Everyone on the call, can you tell them what ATL is, just in case they don't know?
Sure, assistant team leader. So the team leader is essentially someone that wants to attract as much great talent to market center as possible. And as the assistant team leader, what we did was tag team with that team leader, right? So if him and I were both going to sit in a recruiting appointment, I call it attraction appointment because I don't like the word recruiting, but if we were both going to sit in an attraction appointment, it was a slam dunk every time. And so we found that if both of us sat in, the conversion was much higher. So that's what we did. Also keep in mind, it was important to me to be in production because I need to know as the broker how to be able to help these agents and how can I help them if I'm not walking the walk myself. So I made sure that I stayed in production. And also whenever I have a listing, I would see if any agents in the productivity coaching program wanted to host my open house. If there was anyone in our open cafe area, hey, I just got a new listing. Would you like to host an open house for me? So it also created opportunities for our agents as well by me being in production.
And that's one thing that I think people might struggle with, or think they don't have time to stay in production or be able to even refer leads to their team or in the market centers. And then, you also have the outside public that might view, well, gosh, I'm not sure I want to go work for a competing broker. So how do you explain that, and how do you share that story, and how it's really a value that you're still kind of boots on the ground, what's going on in the market? Imagine if you weren't still in production to some degree in this crazy market we're in now, with multiple offers, escalation clause, gap addendum. I mean, all this stuff, right, that we need to know. And you're like me, you like to know those contracts inside and out. You might be a little bit disconnected. So how did you share that story to make sure your agents felt comfortable, and even the outside agents maybe you were looking to attract?
Sure. So one of the things that is important to know is that I had been in business for 12 years prior to coming to KW. So I already had my book of business. I had, my client list that I built up in those 12 years. I was not going to listing appointments where I would compete with any of my agents. I would never do that. And if, I did get a call from someone I didn't know, I'm going to pass that lead on to someone in the cafe. I'm going to pass that lead on to someone in productivity coaching. I've built a good enough book of business on my own where I'm not seeking new business. It's mostly word of mouth. It's the family and the friends of my clients and repeat clients. Also, my agents really, actually, I find like they're proud of when I get one of, especially a good luxury listing. And once I post it, they're all sharing it. And I love it because they're sharing it. It's our brokerage. We're all one. It's not us and them, right? And that's the big important thing about our culture in our office. So when any of us get a luxury listing, we're all sharing and congratulating. And prior to coming to KW, I'd already built a rapport with the Houston Astros and the Houston Dynamo. And everyone was aware of that and knew that. So it wasn't anything big. And then I recently got the Houston Rockets and held a brokers open, and it's all of our success together, right? Like they say, no one succeeds alone. So when we're all celebrating each other's wins, it's not us and them.
So there are a couple questions in the chat we're going to get to in just a minute, but I love how you talk about how the agents get excited about that. So you're really heavily involved with luxury. Obviously, we want to touch on that, not just the opportunity path. I did want to share your story just to, share with everyone, hey, you can still do luxury sales. And if you'd like to be in leadership, obviously, you can get tapped on the shoulder if you're doing the activities to attract people or however you want to be involved. But let's talk about the luxury divisions and your market center. How do you run them? How did you start it? How have you grown them? And then any advice to anyone looking to really get more people involved, masterminding and doing more as kind of that luxury division together to show market share?
Sure. So upon coming to KW, I myself needed to learn about the luxury division and how is that ran, right? And what does that entail? So I have to first learn about the luxury division, and keep in mind, I'm market center number 26. Okay, so we're one of the originals. So we're OGs over here. Yes, market center number 26. And I was like, we don't have a luxury division. And then I kind of thought, well, you brought me on. I had a boutique brokerage that did luxury. So guess what? We're starting a luxury division. So that's just what I sought out to do. And so I wanted to learn all of the tools that were provided through KW Luxury International, which Leslie Akers at the time was the president. So I got with her and asked her, what do I need to know? And how can you support me in starting this luxury division? Because we're in Houston, we really have great opportunity here. So I got with her and we got everything. I got the list of agents that were qualified for luxury, and we were going to do a big rollout. And it was going to just start off as, let's have a luxury party with other luxury agents that we've done business with as a way to say, thank you for working with us, or let's celebrate luxury together. And we got all that done, sent had the invites printed, gonna send them out, and then COVID happened. And so we had to do a little bit of readjusting, and now learning how much different the luxury division is now. It's a lot more inclusive, I feel like. There's just so much more opportunity for branding. So our luxury division is now working on doing that. And we are attracting other luxury agents from other offices simply because of the branding. So I'm not just getting these luxury listings. Let's all mastermind together. What are we seeing? What are we doing? When you get a new listing, let's all go walk that. Let's show these sellers that we are a team. So it's not just this person getting the listing, it's our entire team going and supporting each other. That's so important.
I love that. I love how you're doing the masterminds and helping the agents in the office. And then, like you said, also showing the public, showing the seller that you're all in it to help sell that luxury listing. It's only going to help everyone else go out and get more market share. So we have one question in the chat. I know that you only have till 12:45. You have an amazing award ceremony that you have to get to, which is super exciting. So any advice, Mike, that you can kind of offer? You've got a lot of wisdom. I have to ask Brody to speak. I'm sorry. And then we'll get to these questions.
Please, please.
No, well, first of all, Brandy, you're an amazing host. You're doing a great job as far as leading this and with your questions and your style. And Natasha, it's great to hear you. I've never really heard some of your presentation, and I got nothing to add. Just I ditto everything. That's amazing.
All right. Well, I'm sure you're going to have some words of wisdom at one point when we have these questions come through. So please take yourself off mute if you have anything to add to Natasha's answers. All right. So your first question, Natasha, is how are you getting your luxury listings? And what's the one thing you focus on to obtain them?
Great question. So I'm getting my luxury listings by word of mouth. When they say it only takes one, it only takes one. I started off, I got my first luxury listing probably 3 years maybe into what I consider luxury, right? Because now at least we have a clear number of what that is set out by KW. So I appreciate that, because sometimes people would say, oh, it's luxury. And I'd be like, you know. So I get my luxury listings by word of mouth. And also I have a portfolio. So keep in mind, I've been doing this for a little while. So it's so important that once you get one, you use that and you continue to build on that, and you create a luxury portfolio for yourself. And when you go to these sellers, you have that, and they want to know, the biggest thing I can give you is sellers want to know that you've already done something in their price point. They don't want to be your guinea pig. So building that portfolio is so important. And if you don't have one, shadow someone that does, learn from them. And the one thing that I focus on to obtaining them is experience. I don't provide a service, I provide an experience.
We train the agents and coach and mentor them in both of our market centers that it's the experience, and just to literally take the word service out of your vocabulary, because that's the minimum, right? We should facilitate and service the transaction. We actually are able to act as single agents, so we can act as a fiduciary. And that's a lot of our training here, is just how can we take it to that next level? And the answer is always yes, right? Within legal or ethical realms. Full disclosure, my broker.
Well, and something that is so important is, and sometimes I get agents that say, well, what's the difference between service and experience? And I said, that's a really good question, because I think we need to start off with defining that, right? Service, I'm providing to you the service to be able to sell your home. Experience is, I'm making you feel a certain way by doing this. And when you provide an experience, you will never get this, because this is probably the biggest lesson I've learned. When you provide an experience, you don't have to ask your clients for business.
Ooh,
the reason why you don't have to ask them for business is because they will make sure that everyone that's their family or their friend will only use you because you've provided that great of level of service. And you'll know.
Brandy, can I add one thing?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I love what Natasha just said about her business comes from referrals and relationships. But a lot of people are maybe on this call, but everybody wants to be in luxury or international. Those are like the two sexy, things. So And so don't think that if you don't have those relationships or the experience that you can't break through. Example, I just literally 2 weeks ago, I was at a local, I was getting some takeout salad to take home, and I was going to pick it up, and there's a guy at the bar. So he's dressed in his suit and tie, and I just said, "Hey, how are you? Do you live nearby?" And started a conversation. Turns out he's executive chairman of an organization that owns 2,000 hotels.
Oh,
And
only
he said, "What do
2,000?
you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm a realtor. I'm part of Keller Williams, just in the next block." He said, "I live in Lakeside. That's right across the street." I said, "Yeah." He said, "We're thinking about selling." All right. We've gone no further than that. He knows no background, biography, et cetera. And I said, "Wow, well, I'd love to help you with that if you're curious." And I've said nothing about experience, or I just said, and I told him who I was with. And all I said is, we've got the #1 brand, we got the largest company, and we got the best tools in the industry. I'd love to share those with you. And that was it. So then a meeting at his office and a meeting at the house with his wife, and it's 8,000 square feet on a half-acre lot, 2.5 million. It's going on the market a week Friday.
Wow.
And so I didn't have to have anything other than, and my point is not about me getting that and actually I give it to somebody. I give them to the agents in our office, no
Yeah.
referral fee. And is what I love with what Brady's doing with the luxury division is you can use those tools, whether you've earned in and can say I'm a luxury member or not. You still have full access to the best tools in the industry. And I'm waiting for to see the print data, but he's told us we sell more luxury homes than anybody in North America.
We've
Anybody.
already surpassed all of 2020 through July
Yeah.
numbers. And
And
if you haven't looked at those slides, oh my gosh, I'll send them to you. I have them all
Yeah, and
downloaded.
so we sell more luxury than anybody. So you don't have to back up or apologize for anything. So anyway, so you don't have to have a long record to break into luxury. It just use your own personal magical skills and use the tools that this company provides.
It only takes one.
It does.
Have those conversations, build those relationships. And if you need guidance, because normally agents come to me right there, I just got a call for a luxury listing. I don't know what to do. I walk them through everything and guide them. And all it is building that confidence. They want you, right? They want to hire you for you. So just go in there, be yourself, provide the data. And honestly, like Mike said, the KW brand behind you already sets you apart. It really does.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's in every office, we have several offices on here, someone, a broker, another agent, if you wanted to co-list. There's so many people in our culture that want to help. Okay, so here's someone else in the chat. Oh, this is Core. Hopefully he's our future team leader for KW Suncoast. He's on the call here. He's been on my team. He came over from Sotheby's a few years ago, and he said, I personally came to Keller Williams Island Life Real Estate, one of my brokerages, from Sotheby's. My average sales price increased dramatically from the previous luxury business I had. So Corey, do you want to share anything or ask Natasha any questions, especially about leadership? Because you're the prime example of only being with KW for a few years. And now you've been tapped on the shoulder by myself and Dayton saying, please, don't you want to be our team leader?
Well, I can tell you my brain hurts from training and everything else to prepare for such an opportunity. So I'm not even sure what to say, but it was a very comfortable transition. And it did take, it took Brandy and Dayton about 6 months to between the strategy of a move, because I had that, book of business, and I was like, well, I really want to go further and I want to have more opportunities. But it's that comfort level. You have to figure it out. And of all the brokerages that were kind of after me, they were the only ones that were patient enough to understand what I was going through. So that's pretty much all I could think of right now.
Well, I'll tell you, Natasha, it did take 6 months, and he had so many great questions, and we were not the only brokerage he was interviewing, and I was interviewing him to help him build more opportunity, a team. I thought, gosh, him and his partner, he had a partner at the time. And by the time we got done to like second meeting, maybe third meeting after he had talked to Dayton, my team leader, and also my brother and business partner, he said, well, why don't I just join your team? Because I want to learn from you on how I can have more opportunity and leadership. And I was like, Well, that's a really good idea. I didn't think you'd want to do that.
Yeah, but I've been in the sales side for now coming up on almost 24 years. So I wanted more, and I love to teach, and the opportunities I have to do that. There was no better fit. So that's why I made the jump. It was painful. It was tearful because I was close with my my managing broker at Sotheby's, but she was upset, but she understood.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, Cor.
And good luck, Cor.
We'll keep you posted on
thanks.
his leadership. We hope he's gonna.
I'll let you know if I'll let you all know if I pass George's test.
Everyone text Georgia and say, please let Cor be the team. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
All right. So Natasha just has a few minutes left. Any questions you want to put in the chat? I'm happy to read them. Or if you want to take yourself off mute, please ask away.
Something that I'll speak on while we wait for more questions to come in is if you get a luxury listing, find out who in your office wants to break into luxury, take them to tour the home, show them how to tour a luxury home. And what if you go out of town or you're not available to show? Typically in luxury, right, you are accompanying those showings. Find the agents that want to break through and give them a tour of your luxury listings and teach them how to tour it. That'll mean so much to them.
Yeah, I always get that question, you know, how do I learn the finishes of a luxury home? And I always say, you know what, read all about architecture, Google any magazine about architecture, read anything you can on the internet about it, go to marble shops and different places where they have the different materials, whether it's countertops, appliances, and just ask questions and follow a Natasha around. Ask if, you know, you can shadow a Natasha throughout their week or on a listing showing, like you said, because who knows, that could be your future replacement where, you know, like Mike said, he's referring these $2.5 million listings to people in his office because, you know, he has so many other leadership things going on.
Right.
And so it's a win-win for everyone to help each other.
And I'm always looking for agents to partner with, for sure. So as you mentioned, I'm now the broker of record and owner in 2 market centers. And I'm looking now for who are agents that I want to do business with production, and who are agents that I want to do business with in a leadership, in an ownership role, or go and, you know, partner in on another market center with. I'm constantly looking at that, and also building my bench for who would, you know, who's going to replace me here, who's going to replace me there. It's always important to want to build leaders. That's the important thing. So whatever role you're in, even if you're a rainmaker and you're thinking, you know, how are you going to build your bench? How are you going to be able to step away from production? So it's something to think about at all levels, right? Both in leadership and in production.
I love that. We have one more question in the chat, and keep putting them in the chat. We have about 5 minutes till Natasha has to log off. Well, 4 minutes now. Do you use a professional marketer, and do you send out a lot of mailers?
I do not send out mailers unless it is something just sold in the neighborhood and I'm letting the neighbors know. And I use the KW luxury tools. I'll tell you that the digital brochure is amazing. That's probably been the most impressive, but just use the tools that KW luxury provides. Brady's fantastic. He's always willing to help. So reach out to him as well if you need any assistance with that. But just using the KW luxury tools is what I use.
Great. Any other questions for Natasha? Hi, Kelly. Good to see you.
Or comments. I will also say anyone that wants to, you know, transition or add to being in production and wants to become a leader, talk to your leadership, right? Or find out what it is that you need to do to start doing that. And once you just tell them you want a path. Tell them you want a path to leadership. What does that look like? Because it's really important that you let them know. They don't know, right? They may think you're killing it in production. This is what you want to do. You're so happy. You're making a lot of money. And they may have no idea that you are actually really interested in a leadership role. And that's what happened here at our market center. one of our top agents is now our productivity coach. She said, you know what, I'm burnt out on sales. I really just want to help agents. I remember my first deals, how nervous I was, and she like wanted to go back to helping those because she remembered that, and she was just burnt out on sales. And now we have one of the top productivity coaching programs. I think we're in top 10 for our state, our region. So it's our productivity coaching program went from having 72 agents to now we have 178 agents, I think is what we just calculated. And we now have 3 productivity coaches, and productivity coaching is 52% of our company dollar. So wow. You just never know. Ask.
She's absolutely right. So if you're in my market center or you know Ron Smith, he has a mega agent office. He has a mega agent team. He's now our productivity coach. And I'll have to tell you, without him, there's no way that I would be able to coach and mentor the new agents or the agents wanting to get their production to the next level. He has been intricately involved with that and has done a stellar job to the point where we've asked him to kind of help out with KW Suncoast until we find a Ron here. And he's graciously accepted teaching Ignite and teaching here and helping some agents. But, you know, he was with me from day one of launching my first market center. So now he has the opportunity of being PC for 2, which is pretty incredible, and still have his team running. He has such great talent on his team. It's still running, and he has several lines of income, and he has interest in ownership too. So, you know, maybe we're going to, like you said, partner in the next market center together.
Yeah. And just like I said with luxury, right? It takes one and then you build on that. Guess what? You get a leadership role in one market center. It continues. That's how I got to be the broker for another market center was my contribution to this market center and its growth. So you do that in multiple levels. You do it in production, right? And then you do it in a leadership role and more opportunities come.
So we have 1 minute left. If no one else has any questions, I have an important question, and that you led me right to it. So we're thinking alike. Our pathways are very similar. So it's so funny that you're sharing the story. The question is, what's next? What's next for Natasha?
That's such a great question. I think what is next is transitioning. So I'm writing a playbook for brokers. I know that is, in the KW model, brokers are kind of just there for the uh-ohs, and I want brokers to be more involved. So I'm writing a playbook that I'll be proposing for brokers, and that is going to be working on retention. And so as the team leaders bring in new agents, brokers should close the back door and help retain them. And for me personally, I think it's going to be, what other market center can I add value to? That's really what it is for me. Is it something that excites me, and can I add value? And that's just the way I look at it.
Well, I'm going to be your first client for that playbook. I feel like that's definitely needed, and I'm feeling it with 2 market centers now. I need a great playbook. So love it. Thank you for sharing. Oh, hi, Mark Benson. Stay on the call. Natasha has to log off. I'm going to share that opportunity map that we were talking about in case you've never seen it. Answer any questions. And Natasha, good luck at your awards ceremony.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me, and y'all have a wonderful day in beautiful Florida.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
So if you can hang on, this runs for an hour typically. So I'm happy to share this opportunity map. Let me know if you can see my screen. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, now can you see it okay?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for whoever answered that. I think that was Mark. Good to see you. So has anyone not seen this before? Okay, good. So your leadership's doing a great job by sharing it. It's on the back end of KW. You can create it and put your team leader on there. But there are several agents that I've shown this to. It's actually in our package when we're attracting an agent. So that's one of the first things they see, because I didn't get shown this for a while, or maybe I did and I don't remember, to be quite honest. It never really clicked until much later. So I like sharing it in the beginning, because I want people to understand what they can accomplish or achieve with this company as soon as they're a brand new agent, as soon as I get in front of them or a team leader does. So hopefully you have this. For me, it's been a game changer. Without Georgia and people like Mike Brody and Joanne Owens helped get me involved with KW, you know, kind of sharing what's possible. You know, having a mega agent team, you can become a speaker, trainer, and a coach. I have someone on my team that's what her pathway is. That's what she loves. And so, you know, becoming a Keller Williams University master faculty, she really looks up to Jean Rivers. So I feel as a leader, it's my obligation to make sure I can help her get to that as quickly as possible and help her get out of production. She wants to be out of production. Oh, Megan is on the call. Hi, Megan.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. So anything you want to share? Any questions?
Sorry, my puppy is trained to hit the bell to go outside, but I actually just shared this with another new agent because I think that it's very exciting. And what's so cool about Keller Williams is that we're not put into a box, and really the sky's the limit. So whatever we set our minds to, like, there's a lot of potential out there. And I'm sure there are even other creative things that other agents have done, even above and beyond this opportunity map. But this is a great place to start if you want to get ideas about what your future looks like.
Yeah, I love it. Any ahas or questions? Everyone's so quiet today. Are you hungry? Is it lunchtime? All right. Well, we'll go ahead
No, I
and
can,
end.
I can add something. I can add something. I saw something like this. This is the new evolution of it, and much better laid out. But this is the main reason at the point in my career why I decided to get involved in a company where the company I came from, you know, Sotheby's Realty, the path is a straight line. It's sales. If you want to go into management and take the pay cut, or you can get involved in the parent company and go corporate. There weren't all of these options so that you could really find out where you're best suited. So this segment, or what I learned about this through talking to Dayton before I came over, was a huge deciding factor.
You didn't want to take a pay cut, or you didn't want to go corporate and climb that ladder? It sounds like so much fun.
Does it sound like me? No.
Well, I'm glad we met, and I'm so excited to see your future, and hopefully your call tomorrow goes really well with Miss Georgia.
Yep.
And Dayton and everyone that's going to be on there. And then maybe we can do a big announcement. Everyone on this call is getting a sneak peek. So look at that. Thank you for joining the luxury mastermind. You're getting a sneak peek, hopefully, at our new team leader.
Yep. Sorry, Austin, I don't have my numbers in. I've been a little busy.
He's talking about our team numbers. So Core's currently on my team, but hopefully he'll be moving up. So, all right, everyone. I am actually, speaking of my team, I'm going to get on a sales team meeting at 1 o'clock with them. So unless you have any other questions, I hope you have an amazing month. Or if I see you between now and then, hopefully I get to see you all. Kelly, it'd be so good to see you. I haven't been able to give you a big hug. Same with you, Mark. I know things are stressful with COVID and everything, but I really enjoy having you all on here. And if you need anything ever, even outside of luxury, just reach out. I think most of you have my cell phone. My email is brandycoffey@thecoffeegroup.com. Happy to help you in any way or answer any questions.
Thank you for all you do.
Thanks, Brandy. You're awesome.
Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.